Techniques like decompression and posture correction have helped me stand up taller. However, none of these have actually equated to real, permanent height. In fact, most internet scientists will tell you, past a certain age, there is no way to get taller. Unless, of course, you want that painful, invasive procedure. But what if I told you there might be a way? You see, there's this hypothesis based off of some natural occurrences in the body, and also based off of some of the science behind that crazy invasive procedure. The only problem is, in order to put this hypothesis to the test, I need to make a get taller table. How am I going to make this get taller table? What exactly is it trying to do? What is this hypothesis? How might this work? And then me being someone in my 30s, could this whole entire technique and theory actually be viable? Could I actually make myself get taller? What? That is what we're going to try to explore in this video. This is the get taller table, but you gotta focus. Now, first of all, this get taller table is not just a spinal decompression table or an inversion table. In fact, I've already explored that. You can check out that video if you want. But this whole entire technique will actually be focusing on potentially growing the bones in the lower leg. More of this hypothesis will be explored later in the video, so stay tuned for that. But first, the challenge of building this concept. So this is kind of like the table I'm trying to recreate here. Now, I could just buy this and try to tweak it around myself to make it exactly how I want it, but the suppliers, like where it's coming from, like I just don't know about it. And also, I'm gonna make mine for hopefully much cheaper and then customize it to exactly what I want. Anyways, I'm at the grocery store right now where I'm gonna pick up my supplies. Feeling like I've been buying too much stuff off of Amazon recently, I wanted to head to my local grocery store to purchase my first item needed for this get taller table. That item was going to be the base of this entire experiment, and it was a classic lawn chair. I asked someone and I don't think they have it. They don't have a lawn chair. So yeah, they only had poolside chairs, but not a lawn chair where you could lay down totally flat. Either they were sold out completely or just never had it. But I looked through the entire store, even asked some employees, and well, nothing. Anyways, wanting to start this experiment ASAP, I decided to head to another store to try to find a lawn chair. And this time, I found what I was looking for. Yes. The only catch, it was $150. I thought it was gonna be like 30 bucks. So unfortunately, they only had a premium lawn chair that was $150, so I ended up going back to plan A. A is an Amazon. A simple lawn chair, you know, like the one with the metal frame and like the rubber band strands that you put your weight on. You know, one that's like 20 bucks, you know? That's now probably like 40 bucks. But still. Alright, but I do have a confession. The whole entire reason I wanted to get a lawn chair is in case this experiment turns into total trash, which I'm hoping it's not going to, then, well, I would have something that would, that I could use for myself. Alright, here we go. And what do you know? Amazon had a whole bunch of different options ranging in price and probably quality. Paralysis by analysis, man. So I tried to search for one that looked solid, but was also a decent deal. Ew. Came with the stain. And after about 10 minutes, I believed I found the one. It's basic, it's simple, it's exactly what we need. I don't have any points. I ordered from Amazon. Anyways, a day later, it was here, and it was time to get started building the Get Taller Table prototype. Oh wow, not bad. Oh man, I'd say that's actually a nice chair. Perfect. Dude, this is a nice chair. Man, it's actually pretty long to where I might not even need the extension I was thinking about. Okay, so to understand what I'm trying to build, you gotta kind of understand the hypothesis. If I add a light stretching force to my lower limbs after an intense impactful exercise, will then over time, will my legs actually lengthen? Now, if you're thinking this sounds crazy, just hold up a second. The whole entire premise of this hypothesis is based off of that lower leg lengthening surgery, where the lower leg bones are broken and split apart, and over time, the bone actually fills in the gap and then the person is that much
much taller, and I believe it's like up to 6 inches. Now before you're like, oh that's great, a simple surgery to make you up to 6 inches taller, well warning, apparently that can come with a bunch of potential serious negative side effects. So back to this experiment's hypothesis, a lot less invasive and hopefully with no negative side effects. The way this kind of relates to that get taller surgery though is after an intense impactful lower body workout such as running or jumping, the stress put on the bones causes them to go through a process known as remodeling. This process involves the removal of bone by osteoclasts followed by the formation of bone matrix through osteoblasts. Essentially, the bone breaks down but then grows back, but they're growing stronger, not taller. However, the hypothesis of this experiment, what if we could take advantage of this remodeling process as the bone is in a weakened state after some intense exercise, could sitting in this get taller table, stretching the lower leg, cause the lower leg bones to also grow in a vertical fashion? I know, it is a stretch. Pun intended. But I haven't seen anyone actually explore this combination of theories in this hypothesis, at least not in a video, and that's what I was going to do, so I had to build my get taller table to stretch out after intensely exercising. Building the table, however, a little bit more easier said than done. This is the first thing I'm going to implement right here. Probably the most important part. So to apply this stretch, a simple 50-pound resistance band I got on sale at the sporting goods store. I started with just looping it through the chair, hoping it would be at just the right distance to where I wouldn't need to make anything extending from the chair. But for some reason at that distance, it just didn't feel right, like it wasn't applying enough tension, so I'd have to work on fixing this in just a minute.
I can work on my tibialis.
Anyways, gathering some more supplies, I got some Gorilla Tape, of course, and the around the door buckle from the Iron Neck kit that I was going to use as a seat belt.
This could honestly be this simple. Like, check this out.
No, after a few minutes of thinking, it came to me. How to add a part to the get taller table without doing anything too drastic to get that resistance band out further to apply a little more tension? Well, it had to do with my pull-up bar and some clamps. Yeah. All I could find was a big one and a little one.
Oh, dusty.
And well, luckily this seemed like it was going to work. The pull-up bar was just about the perfect width to fit right on the chair, and well, I would use the clamps to not have to drill any holes and also leave some adjustability, but ultimately clamp the pull-up bar to the lawn chair. The only issue was the little clamp wasn't big enough. Not wanting to spend any more money or delay this experiment further, I went back to the basement to try to find another one.
Oh. With the ball instead of a laser? Yo! The OG Bodyweight Beast. 2.0, so much better. That's right, get Bodyweight Beast 2.0 right now. OnlyKindsFitness.com. Get 25% off. Use code FOCUS at the checkout. Yeah! Yeah! Might be a little different size, but it should still work. Let's go test it out.
None of that was planned, I swear. Anyways, luckily the other clamp that I found ended up working. And for real, the pull-up bar apparatus that I clamped to the lawn chair seemed to be holding very solidly. Wrapping the resistance band around the pull-up bar for a quick test.
Yeah.
It seemed like I was on the right track.
Alright, now I need to look for some old, worn-out cloth. So not the wife's clothes. I'm thinking this shirt right here. This has seen its day.
For a more comfortable fit around the lower legs, I cut 2 arms off a long sleeve shirt, and then I looped both pieces of cloth through the ends of the resistance band and used some Gorilla Tape to seal them into place. Things were looking good, but I needed the resistance band to be a little bit tighter, and thankfully, because the adjustability due to the whole clamp setup, I was able to just bring the pull-up bar out further away from the table. And then also I looped the resistance band around the bar a little bit more to add some more tension.
Over the top on the inside. Oh dude, yep, there it is. It is stretching my legs right now. Dude, wow. Holy smokes, I can feel that. Buckle in. It's like, yeah, that's pulling me, look at that.
So simply enough, I was feeling the tension in what I believe to be the right area for this experiment. The only problem was I was kind of pulling forward and I wanted to feel a little more secure in the chair. So once again, not wanting to spend any more money, I decided to search through some old stuff, and I found from a previous experiment some BFR bands or occlusion bands, and I was hoping those would be able to help secure me to the table just a little bit more without cutting off any circulation or anything like that.
To keep that pulling tension on the tibia, But obviously not making this so tight that I cut my circulation off. That would be bad. I just kind of want it to hold me here.
And yes, to my luck once again, this seemed to be a perfect solution. The table also had holes in this area for it to bend and fold up, but I used those to loop the bands through and will help secure my legs to the table just below the knee. Hopping into the machine, getting everything in place, tightening the straps but not too tight. It all seemed to work, and just like that, the table was complete.
Wow, I can feel that stretch actually. It actually feels really good.
Now, how would this whole entire idea actually hold up when I tried to put it to the real test and spend an hour a day in this after an intense workout? Well, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for the real test. So I took some various before measurements, and then over the next week, every time after doing an impactful lower body exercise, such as running or plyometrics, which is jumping essentially, I would afterwards spend 1 hour in the chair. Now, to be honest, this whole Get Taller table apparatus that I made was feeling like it was doing exactly what I wanted it to do, that is applying a light stretch to the lower limbs. And while it was slightly uncomfortable to spend an hour in the chair, it wasn't unbearable.
Man, I'm probably gonna mess with my posture looking at my phone like this. It's gonna counteract all the progress I'm making with the legs here, if I make any.
The biggest issue I had this first week was actually with the amount of impactful exercise I was doing. For I only had 3 workouts where I did some form of impactful lower body exercise, 2 plyometric days, and then 1 1-mile run after a calisthenics day midweek. So that means I only spent 3 sessions in the chair this first week.
Would you believe me if I told you I have not yet hit the wall? I decided, why am I just not spending an hour in the chair every day? So that's what I'm doing this week, an hour in the chair every day. Anyways, I'm already into the second week, and well, just being up in my office kind of looking at the wall on my phone was getting a little old, so I decided to move it down here to beside the couch here. But yeah, if I want to, you know what? I can still watch some TV. Also got my phone and shoot, laptop left over there, dang it. Gonna be down here for the next couple of days until this week 2 is up. Have I noticed any results so far? My ankles on the backside are a little red from all the stretching. You know, is 2 weeks even enough to even see results? I don't know. We'll have to just wait and see. I'm gonna do an hour every day this week, and yeah, all right.
So over the next 7 days, I spent 1 hour a day in the chair, regardless if I did any lower body impactful exercise or not. After a total of 10 hours spent on the Get Taller table over the course of 2 weeks, did I experience any changes to my height? Ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the results.
Let's take measurements. Are they longer? Let's find out. What? Are you? I'm not BSing, guys. Like, look at this. I am not BSing. Did we just crack the code to limitless height? I mean, I'm actually measuring in taller. What in the world is going on? So I had a suspicion right after taking my measurements that something else might be going on. I think I might know what's going on though. Let me just give myself like 45 minutes and then I'll take another measurement. Cause yeah. What is that, you ask? Well, something that has worked for increasing my height temporarily before. Yeah, temporarily. What am I talking about? Decompression. So when I did do the inversion table experiment, that came with a whole host of obstacles that I didn't even expect. If you haven't seen that video, watch that video. Anyways, when I did do that experiment, I did notice an increase in height. But that increase in height was pretty much just temporary. At most, it was an improved posture with some decompression that is allowing a little bit more space between all the joints, and I guess there's synovial fluid that might like fill in those gaps temporarily so that you're like standing up taller. This is why typically, if you want to be taller, just take your measurements first thing in the morning. You'll notice that you're like almost an inch taller sometimes maybe less for some people, but for me it can be like a half an inch to an inch taller than I am at the end of the day. And it's not necessarily because my posture gets worse throughout the day, it's because that decompression from sleeping. It's crazy. Anyways, I found that when doing inversion, you can kind of mimic this decompression in a shorter time period. So, you know, inverting for like maybe 5-10 minutes or whatever, you can actually get a temporary decompression and be a little bit taller. So what I was suspecting after taking my measurements and measuring in taller in this Get Taller table experiment was that maybe I experienced some decompression. And 45 minutes later, after walking around standing up, not being in any form of decompression, I took my measurements again. No. If not a little bit shorter. So I'm actually getting a little bit under now. Well, it's right at 5'11 and a half.
That's it?
Yeah.
I thought you were 6 feet.
I was after I stretched. Now on top of that, I also did the tibia-fibia measurements that I tried to do with the tape and all that, and I got basically similar measurements to what I had in the beginning of this experiment. Now, I wasn't intending for this Get Taller table to act like a decompression table. In fact, in my opinion, where most of that height increase comes from when doing decompression is typically in the spinal column, you know, like that center of mass area. However, where I think I put on that temporary height is if you look at that belt, how I put it over my stomach to hold me into that chair, I think there was some leg decompression in the leg joints. Yeah, I'm wearing shorts with this shirt, I know. But also there was probably a little bit of hip decompression and then probably some lower spinal decompression as well. I mean, I'm spending an hour in this thing just allowing it to stretch me and relaxing in it. So maybe not all the spine, but the lower portion as well as the legs and the joints in the legs too, maybe where I experienced some temporary decompression for that temporary height. So I know it seems like I completely failed, I'm an idiot, my idea sucks, and I suck. And I just spent 10 hours in this chair. See, that's the thing, I know if I was more popular, or if this video caught on and it got controversial, and some science tubers jumped on it, I could see the reaction right now. You know, my hypothesis, and then all of a sudden them just, no. Absolutely not. I'm thinking outside the box? No. So I know there are so many other potential issues with this, like the micro trauma to the lower leg bones after intense, impactful exercise. Is that even enough to allow for there to be some malleability to the entire bone structure itself? Or is it just so small that it's pretty much just the same thing as it was before? It's just like on a microscopic scale. And blah, 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 science, science, science. I'm just kind of, I don't know if annoyed's the right word, but we'll just say that, you know, that there's so much of this like concrete science out there that just can't be fiddled with. And now, while I think some ideas might be stupid, and maybe you think this one was a stupid idea, I just can't help but wonder, what stupid ideas have we missed out on that might actually work amazingly? Maybe I'm giving up on this idea too soon. Maybe I need to try this for an entire month. Maybe I need to add other methods into an entire month, trying everything to just get taller. Let me know if you guys want to see that video. I mean, I'll try my best. And also, I just want to say this real quick. If you're someone who considers yourself short and you're desperate to get taller, I just want to say, in my opinion, there are some significant benefits to being a short king. I actually made a video on the benefits of being shorter. It's actually quite an old video. I can make an updated video to that, but one of the biggest benefits I think to being shorter, it has to do with like longevity and quality of life. For some reason, it seems like shorter people have a healthier, longer life where their joints and stuff don't deteriorate at the rate that taller people typically do. Now, I might be wrong, it's just an opinion of mine, but I mean, Tom Cruise, Chuck Norris. But seriously, some of these guys who are shorter, 60s, 70s, and they move like crazy. And yeah, you know, meanwhile the taller people are like, oh god, yeah, and they're getting shorter too. Sorry, I kind of went off on a tangent there, but I'm making this video not because it's like, oh my gosh, you need to be taller, you should be trying something like this. It's actually mainly for curiosity and just to see, you know what I mean? It's like just to see if we can cause an effect, you know, and if we did cause an effect, it's like, no way. I'm mainly curious, and I like your guys' feedback. So, there. I like to interact with you guys via these silly experiments, and I like to make things like we made. And I like to make videos. And I like mysteries, and I like puzzles. Anyways, let me know what you all think about this entire Get Taller table idea and this entire video, perhaps. Hope you all have a great day. Don't forget to subscribe, turn those notifications on, stay tuned. Peace. I will see you all in the next video. More videos coming out.